Joining me in the studio are members of Community Works, social justice organizations that work for affordable housing, quality health care, environmental justice, civil rights, safe neighborhoods, economic equity, and youth leadership. To discuss how these federation of these organizations works is Judy Norsegian and Sharon Sisskind. I thank you both for joining me. Now, Judy, to start off with you, tell me a little bit about Community Works. You're one of the oldest members, correct?
Absolutely, yes. What Community Works is an organization of member agencies that all provide services to the community and at the same time work for social justice, try to address the problems that create the need for the services. So it isn't just direct services. And my own organization, Our Bodies, Ourselves, was one of the founding members of Community Works. Back in 1982, there were 12 agencies. We were one of them. And that year, we raised $12,000 for our member groups. And now, in 2009, we're 31 agencies, and we raised more than $200,000 for these wonderful organizations. What's unique about Community Works is that we collaborate. We're nonprofit organizations who collaborate with one another to raise community awareness about the issues, about the need to support these wonderful groups. They're mostly small grassroots organizations that have evolved from the communities out of the needs that, expressed by community members. And they've grown to address sometimes statewide issues, sometimes national issues, and in my own case, Our Bodies, Ourselves, we have become a global organization, although we have strong roots in the community as well. In fact, 5 of our founders are from Newton, Massachusetts.
That's right.
Or lived in Newton, not necessarily born in Newton. I was born in Watertown, actually. But what we did is we decided to raise funds cooperatively through payroll deduction charitable giving programs. What we wanted to do is enter the workplace and become an option for an employee who would check off, a certain amount to be given out of the paycheck every month or every 2 weeks. And typically, individuals like to give to a specific charity of their choice or an umbrella of charities. And what you can do with Community Works is you can pick Community Works and know that all of your money is going to these social change organizations. We divide it up equally, although some workplaces allow you to pick a member agency and give all of your donation to that agency if you'd like. That's the case with the federal employees, with the state employees. Some of the universities allow that level of choice. Many employers that are smaller don't want to deal with the complexity, even though with the software that we've got now for your paychecks, you can do this easily. But they'd rather just say, okay, give to Community Works or this other umbrella group or another group, and then we'll facilitate it through payroll deduction. That way a little comes out every month. You don't have to give a big amount at the end of the year, which is how some people do their charitable giving. We are very excited to see the collaboration among the organizations, and we really are an antidote to the silo mentality, where organizations sometimes do their work without being aware of other organizations doing similar work or work that's related. When we think about women's issues or hunger issues or homelessness, they're all interrelated. And so whether it's the Haitian Women of Boston or whether it's the Welcome Project in Somerville, whether we're dealing with families in a project, whether we're dealing with environmental issues or women's health issues, we all need to see the synergies and the ways in which we need to work together to improve the health of our community as a whole.
And it's not just here, but internationally as well, as you say, globally.
Well, in fact, some of the member agencies of Community Works do work globally, and you just so happen to have
Yes.
a couple today that do that.
Absolutely. Now, Sharon, I want to talk with you. You're one of the newest members of Community Works.
That's right.
And tell me a little bit about your organization, Communities Without Borders.
Well, Communities Without Borders was founded by Dr. Richard Bell here in Newton. He had spent many years in Africa working for the World Health Organization and became very interested in working to help the children in sub-Saharan Africa who had lost parents to AIDS. So it's important to note these children do not have AIDS, but they are orphans or in many cases vulnerable children who do not have anyone to take care of them and immediate family members. So they are not in orphanages. They are being taken care of by members of the community. They live in the community, maybe with a grandmother in many cases. Sometimes an older sibling is the head of the household. And the mission of Communities Without Borders is to help these children get an education, because there are studies that have been done, and I'm sure that Judy can share some of this information, that even a girl with a 5th grade education has a significantly lower chance of developing AIDS. And her children are more likely to be vaccinated and get some health care and survive as she grows up. So it's just so important that these children be educated. And the way that our organization works is that we match communities in the United States with a community of women who are taking care of children in Zambia. And in fact, there are three organizations
right
near Newton. There's the First Unitarian Society in West Newton that's matched with the Chiwama compound in Zambia, and the Elliott Church in Newton Corner is matched with the Trapego Women of Hope in Linda compound, and Union Church in Wabin is matched with the Mtendere community in Zambia. And it's just a wonderful collaboration because the people in the two communities actually get to know each other. Mm-hmm. We lead trips each summer. Last year we had 25 people travel from the greater Boston area to Zambia and work in the community. And the year before we had almost 30 people travel to Zambia and work within the community.
And when they travel, do they actually get to meet the people with whom they're helping?
They meet with them. We have many high school students that go, both from Newton South and Newton North, mm-hmm. and they work in the classrooms. We've had teachers go who put on teacher workshops because some of the teachers there have very little training and very little supplies. So the teachers have been able to do training with the teachers in Zambia and help them make their classrooms better. We also try and support them in some of their micro financing projects.
Their businesses, like, for instance, the tie-dye.
Exactly. The women in Trapego make these beautiful tie-dyes, and we'll bring them back here and sell them. And that's a way for the women to make some money, mm-hmm. which they use to feed the children that they're taking care of.
Which some only get one meal a day.
Often the meal that these women prepare is the only meal that these kids will get all day. And last year we were really excited that 60 of the children that we have been working with, and we work with over 1,000 children. Most of these are preschoolers and primary school age children. But 60 of the children were able to pass their exams and move on to secondary school education. And
which actually cost about $200 a year?
It costs about $200 a year. One of the things I was going to say is that, education, going to school in the lower grades is free, but a child can't go to school unless they have shoes and socks and a uniform and a backpack. So part of what we do is raise funds so that they can get these supplies. And in fact, there are so many people in the Newton area that are involved. Last year and the year before, a group of high school students at Newton North did a big drive, and they collected shoes and backpacks and fleeces for the summer travelers to bring with them. And they collected over 200 pairs of shoes. Wow. and almost 150 backpacks and I don't remember how many fleeces. And they brought them with them, and they were able to give them to the kids that they're supporting, and they saw them wearing it, and they played with the kids and worked with them in the classroom, and it was really just a very wonderful experience.
For someone to get involved in Communities Without Borders, would they go to communityworks.com, or is there a specific site for you?
I think we have our own website. It's called Communities Without Borders, all one word, .org. Mm-hmm. And there's information, if you go through the information contact spot on the web and say you're interested in learning more about Communities Without Borders, we'd love to hear from you. And perhaps you have an organization that we can match with a group in Zambia.
Thanks a lot, Sharon.